Hey friends, we moved to Vegas. Today I'm catching you up on why we left Washington, what we've learned during our time away, and what's next for Overthinker Apparel. Grab a snack, get comfy, and let's catch up. We've got a lot to talk about. You know that feeling when you think you found your dream place and then later you're like, oh, maybe not. That's exactly what happened to me in Washington. When I first moved there from LA, I was obsessed. The year-round greenery, the changing seasons, seriously, so stunning. After living in a place where everything felt dry and brown, Washington was like a total dream. But here's what I didn't realize about myself. I need sunlight. At first, I kept telling myself, it's fine, it's just rain, no big deal. Strong people don't complain about the weather. And I thought, as long as I stay focused on my business, I'll be okay. But over time, that gray sky really got to me. Seasonal depression hit me hard. I felt like a dying plant, just desperate for sunlight. And it wasn't just my mood, it totally sucked the life out of my creativity. And when that spark's missing, everything feels heavier. And then there were my embroidery machines. Oh my gosh, they're loud, like shake the walls loud. I was always so paranoid about bothering my neighbors. No one ever said anything, but I just couldn't shake that feeling, like I was being that neighbor. Even with all the emotional weight I was carrying, I kept asking myself, should I just push through? I knew that was just my inner gremlin talking, the part of me that's scared of change and wants to stay comfortable. But the idea of moving, packing up my life, my business, and these massive embroidery machines to move 1,000 miles away, it felt overwhelming. And then the rent drama hit, and that was my final straw. We were already paying close to $3,000 a month for our apartment. A lot, but we made it work. Then we got our renewal offer and saw that the unit above us, same layout, same everything, was renting for $200 less. I was like, excuse me? So I went to the property manager and asked, hey, would you guys match that rate? And guess what? They flat out said no. And right then I was like, okay, what are we even doing here? We're being overcharged to live in a place that's making us miserable. Rejection is redirection. It's time to move on. Deciding to move was one thing, actually making it happen, total chaos. The long distance moving quotes were insane, so I was like, okay, I'll just hire movers for the heavy stuff and pack the rest into my car. Everything else, donate it or trash. At first, my mom helped with the packing, but I had other plans. See, my mom's the kind of person who sees potential in everything, and of course, she keeps it all. Love her to pieces, but growing up, my sister and I became pros at sneaky decluttering. Sorry, Mom. So yeah, I flew her to Vegas early so that I could quietly get rid of a ton of stuff to keep moving costs down. But once it was just me, oh man, I seriously underestimated how much was left. I was packing up to the last second, running on zero sleep. By the time the movers cleared the apartment, I felt like I had just run a marathon. Then came the drive to Vegas. It's about a 16-hour trip, and the first part, honestly, it was great. Smooth roads, sunny skies, relaxing vibes. It almost felt like a mini vacation. But then, the Airbnb I booked for the night, super sketchy. I walked in, looked around, and immediately thought, nope. So instead of staying, I hit the road again, even though the sun was already setting. And that's when things got terrifying. Picture this. Pitch black mountain roads, no streetlights, barely any cell service, not a single car in sight, just me, Skippy, and the faint moonlight. I was gripping the wheel so tight my fingers hurt. Every shadow, every curve in the road had me second guessing myself. Am I even going the right way? Is this how horror movies start? Honestly, the only thing keeping me from spiraling was Skippy. Dog owners, you know what I mean. When something feels off, the first thing you do is check your dog. And if they're calm, you're like, okay, false alarm, nothing to worry about. Every time I got scared, I would reach over and feel Skippy curled up in his little car bed, totally peaceful, probably dreaming about snacks. And if he was chill, I knew we'll be fine. When I finally pulled into Vegas and saw my mom waiting outside our new house, it was everything. All the stress, the exhaustion, the fear, it all just melted away. I couldn't believe it. We actually made it. Looking back now, it still feels surreal. Those 2 weeks, easily some of the hardest, most exhausting days of my life. I was terrified every step of the way, but I kept going anyway. And now, life feels so much lighter. I can turn on my embroidery machines without worrying about disturbing the neighbors. The sunlight I desperately needed, it's here all year round. No more more rearranging my life around the weather app, and the best part, we've got so much more space now. There's room for everything: embroidery, folding sweatshirts, packing orders, and guess what? I finally have a real office. No more cramming my work setup next to my bed. Even better, I've set aside a cozy room just for my family. They've been my biggest supporters from the very beginning, and it feels so good to have a space ready for them whenever they visit. And of course, Skippy. He's been my little shadow through every work day, every packing session, and every chaotic moments of this move, always by my side. After spending his whole life in apartments, it's been my dream to give him more space to run and play. And now, he's got a fenced backyard and a long hallway, perfect for burning off energy and getting his zoomies out. Seeing him this happy, it makes my heart so full. It's been 9 months since I last posted. 9 months. Can you believe that? Some of you even slid into my DMs to check in, asking if I was okay or if the business was still running. First of all, thank you. Seriously, your messages meant everything. So, to answer the big question, yes, I'm still here. Overthinker is still here. Behind the scenes, I've been quietly packing and shipping orders. But online, I've been silent. And honestly, I keep asking myself why. Why did I hold back? Why did I stop showing up? The truth is, I was scared. Somewhere along the way, I let fear creep in. My brain kept spinning with questions like, what if no one cares? What if my designs flop? What if I just look stupid? And those thoughts, they completely froze me. I didn't post, I didn't create, I just watched opportunities slip by. Before I even realized it, a whole year had passed. And I was stuck in this loop of what ifs, too scared to move. And you know what? It's exhausting living that way. I'm over it. So this year, I'm choosing to do it scared. Packing up my business and moving to a new state, terrifying. Driving alone with just skipping down unfamiliar mountain roads at night, I didn't think I could do it. But guess what? I did. And every single time, I proved to myself that fear is just a feeling. It's not reality. It will pass. And you can take the next step, even if you're scared while doing it. And that's why our first new design of the year is called Do It Scared. It features this little polar bear snowboarding down a slope. The idea came from this wholesome skiing account I stumbled across one day. There was one video that really stuck with me. A dad was teaching his little girl how to ski. She was standing at the top of this huge slope, totally frozen with fear. You could tell she wanted to back out. But instead of letting her overthink it, her dad just said 3 simple words: do it scared. And you know what? She did. She went down that slope, fear and all. That moment really hit me. That's exactly the energy I want to carry into this year. I hope this little polar bear sweatshirt feels like a warm hug on days when fear feels just too much. A gentle reminder that you've got this, even if you're shaking in your boots. I have a confession to make. I might have a bit of a hoarding problem. If you've been following me for a while, you've probably seen the blink room in my videos. Rows and rows of shelves stacked with boxes of sweatshirts, tees, and totes. Seeing all those neatly stacked boxes gave me this weird sense of control. Like, look, I got my life together. But honestly, it was just an illusion. I didn't realize it at the time, but all those boxes, they were holding me back. Not just physically, but mentally too. It really hit me during the move. We had about 50 boxes of blinks. Yep, I counted. Because I paid to move every single one, and you're probably thinking, why on earth would you stock up on 50 boxes of blinks? Fair question. Here's what I told myself. These are my staple blinks. They sell fast and I hate running out. Plus, it felt like a low-risk investment. If one design doesn't sell, I can switch it up and try again. Sounds reasonable, right? But over time, that strategy boxed me in. Instead of creating new collections from fresh ideas, I kept working around the colors and styles I already had in stock. And after a while, everything started to feel the same. Repetitive, boring. I lost that spark of excitement. And that's not the vibe I want for Overthinker Apparel. So after that stressful and expensive move, I made a decision. No more hoarding. From now on, I'm running a leaner business. I'll order blinks when I need them, not months in advance. That way, I'll keep my cash flow healthy, my space clear, and most importantly, keep my mind free to actually create. This year, I'm done holding on to old ways of thinking. I'm done playing it safe. I'm done letting the what ifs stop me. If I want to try something new, like making padded Kindle sleeves, I'm doing it. If I see things that inspire me, I'm going to figure out how to bring my own version to life. And that's exactly why I revamped our Valentine's Day collection. I'm really proud of how this new collection is turning out, and I hope it brings a little joy and excitement into your day too. From googling how to ship a package to sending out orders for a living, from making sweatshirts in a tiny one-bedroom apartment to now creating in a spacious two-story house in a whole new state. Every step full of unknowns, full of scary moments, but I've seen what happens when I don't let fear hold me back, and I've seen what happens when I do. Fear never really goes away, but you know what? I like myself a whole lot more when I do it scared. Thank you for being here and supporting us on this journey. It means a lot. Have you ever taken a leap of faith? How did you push through? Drop a comment. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Here's to doing it scared together.